Thanks, folks. Hey, look, we've had a lot of people, I do see some hands up, but there might be some time at the end. We've had a lot of people respond to us with their own questions, Waikato Times readers, of course. I thought it might be timely just to fire ahead with a couple of those quickly. They have asked specific questions of specific candidates in no particular order, but I think we might start off with Julie Hardacre. And the first question for you, Ms. Hardacre, is how will you cut through the red tape? Yeah, 1 minute.
Come on, guys, I'm a lawyer, and we cut to the chase pretty quickly. We have to, because that's the job. And so I think, red tape, yeah, it's up to challenge. Every process is up for challenge and scrutiny. I'm very good at that, and I think that that's what people want. We're sick of the red tape. The red tape bogs us down. You've heard tonight about planning rules. Bob agreeing with me, they're archaic. That's red tape. You need to look at these issues carefully, dissect them, debate them, and clear the way. I'm a cut-to-the-chase sort of person, and I won't have any trouble with the red tape.
Mr. Simcock, got a question for you. You say in your advertising that you've maintained a stable council without factions. How do we know this to be true, since so much debate goes on in meetings that are closed to the public?
Well, I think that I have already answered that question.
Let him answer the question,
every
please.
decision that the council makes is debated, and all except those that deal with the issues I've listed before are dealt with in public. Now, if people want to come along, they will see that. In the last round, for example, we had 6 hours in the Community Environment Committee. Nobody was there from the media, nobody was there from the public, but that was debate. It goes on every issue, every 6-weekly round.
Let him speak.
They are allowed in, sir. They are advertised, and if you took the effort to find out, you would find out how to get there. All other people are aware of that. So the reality is, sir, that these decisions are made and open, and that's the way it is done in all councils around New Zealand.
Mr. Henneberry. Before the 2007 elections, you told the Waikato Times that you'd had 6 years as a councillor, and you said that after 3 terms you'd be out. You said this will be the 3rd term for me. If I'm going to do it, it needs to be now. Now you've had 3 terms and are standing for a 4th. What's changed?
That's a very good question, isn't it? I think what's changed is the debt. What's changed? Bob said he stood to cut the crap out. There's still a lot of crap going on in council, and if you want to see it, I can give it to the Waikato Times. I've had food squashed in my papers. I've had chocolate fish cut in half and squashed in my papers. I've had derogatory emails sent to me and the press. I've had all sorts of stuff that I could write a book about. And you know what? You can all see it if you want to. So did Bob stand to cut the crap out? No, he didn't. Right? I'm here to cut the crap out, and I put a rates control team in there that are professionals, lawyers, solicitors, world champions, medical people. You give them the job, and you see how it gets done. Thank you.
Ms. Hardacre, why aren't you also standing for council?
Because I'm not a person that has a bob each way and's got a fallback position. Can I just also address a point that Roger made, because I think it's important to address the point, that Roger's speech just before is a very good example of why the city needs good, strong leadership. As Mayor, I won't allow that sort of behaviour to go on. And can I also suggest to you that there are a number of new candidates standing, and it is very important that you select carefully, because that is not acceptable behaviour.
Thank you for that. Mr. Simcock. Do you guys like these questions? Kick on. Got a few more readers' questions coming up. Right. Why has it taken so long to acknowledge the CBD parking problems?
We've been working on CBD parking problems for some time, and the decisions we've been making are for incremental change. And one of the reasons for that is, the first experience we had was free parking on Saturdays. The first thing that happened, of course, is that staff of all of the shops filled all of the parking spaces, and access actually got worse rather than better. So that what we then realised is we had to go back and stick time limits, and we still had to police that, and so we've done that. We've reduced the cost in parking buildings to see whether we can get people who want to stay longer than the short term to move into the parking buildings. We'll carry on making those changes, but we need to know what's having an effect and what the consequent effects are as we go along that route. So we're not going to do a wholesale, let's make everything free, park as long as you like, because if you do that, we know the central city will grind to a halt.
Mr. Henneberry, if you keep rates down, what's going to go?
Well, I've been following this quite closely because we've got to know each other quite well over the last 3 or 4 weeks, doing over 20 speeches. Mayor Bob said that next year he's looking to cut $750,000 out of the salary budget. He also talked about cutting $1 million out of the interest, and that is where we borrow money and we're going to group with other councillors. We've been saying the same thing, so we congratulate Bob with those ideas because that's part of the rates control team idea. You will not notice any difference at all. We promise to keep your rates to CPI. See if we can't.
Yeah, okay, we've got a bit of time.
Thank you. I want to comment because I'm being quoted there and both quotes are absolutely wrong. What I have said is that in the last 2 years there was $750,000 taken out of salaries. What I've said in this year there will be about $1 million taken out of salaries. I've made no comment about interest whatsoever. Those things are already baked in the budget, Roger. You're talking about taking another $2 million out. You need to tell us where you're going to do it.
Well, you know, if anybody is in business here tonight, you'll know when you take over a sick company what you do. You look at its overheads and running costs. Our running costs are $53.5 million for salaries out of a $100 million rate take. If those figures impress you, you'll go out of business.